G'day all, welcome back to Dad vs Son and our playthrough of the historical scenario of Eutaw Springs from the tri-battle pack of the Great Battles of the American Revolution, where I am slowly but surely destroying the British forces with my inept tactics and decisions. Righto, so at the moment, British are up here, except for Coffin and the Charleston Horse down here. And the Americans are trying to close in for the kill. Right, so first things first is the initiative roll. The Americans have a +1, being on high morale. The British have no die roll modifier. Both sides have a momentum. So do the British wish to use a momentum for the roll? And they do not. Do the Americans want to? And I don't think so. So they've been using them and haven't done them any good. So it's the Americans with a +1. And we get a 5 and a 4. So the Brits are first again. So righto. So first things first, no reinforcements. Disrupted units, we have one down here, can move 1. But he's just going to stand because I don't want him to get away from Coffin. So he will stand there. No shattered or pinned units, so it comes down to movement. Again, Coffin's just going to stand here with him. Now, the decision now is, do we run out here and try and attack Green, whilst he only has the North Carolina Brigade with him? And we could do that with Delancey and the other loyalists here, and that would give us a sort of a 2-to-1, and no defensive artillery can reach. So that might be a worthwhile sort of thing to do. That is splitting our forces again, but if we could take out Green and or the North Carolina Brigade, then that is going to be a great help. I could bring over the 96th to help. That would be still wouldn't help enough. That would only give us 2, 4, 6, 8. Would still only be a 2-to-1. I don't want to split up Marchbanks, that's for sure. I've got 2 here. What I'm thinking of doing is maybe withdrawing the light into the plantation house and bringing the buffs over with the 96th and the artillery. That would give us a little bit more. So let's do that. Light infantry will go back in there. The buffs will come into here. And Marchbanks will come into here. Because remember, if the Americans get into here, into any of these encampment hexes, then they've got to do loot rolls to see if they become disrupted and everything else, which then gives these forces a chance to kick the poo out of them as well. So it's a very dangerous thing for them to come into here. And this hex is still an encampment as well, even though they need it. I'm going to take the chance with the Loyalist forces. I'm going to order them forward. 1, 2, 3, 4 into here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4. And they're going to have a go. Dangerous, I know. Okay, so the next thing is the rally phase. And Coffin is here with the Charleston horse. So the Charleston horse's morale is a +1, -1, so at a 0. But for the rally, they pick up a 1 for Coffin. So he needs a 4 or better to rally and gets a 0 and does not rally at all. So we'll just put that rally on me back there. Okay, so the next thing that's going to occur is the defensive artillery, and none of the American artillery can reach any of the British forces. Rifle fire phase, the only rifle is the American rifle, again out of range, so close combat. So we have Delancey as the lead here, and we have 2, 4, 6, with the North Carolina Brigade having to be the lead, so it's 6-3, which is 2-1. They get a +1, -1 for Delancey, which is a zip, no leader, defenders, nothing there. So, no, it's straight 2-1. Okay, defender benefits, again, North Carolina Brigade gives a zip, but Green gives them a +1, so that's a -1. And again, that is it. So it's a 2-1 at a -1. And then we have a look at tactics. For the attackers, the British, they are engaging without a leader, but withdraw is plausible, so it's table 1, a die 8 for them. And they get a 5, which is attack on echelon. And for the Americans, they are engaged with the leader. The opponent has no leader. Is flank possible? And they could flank down to here or up to here, so yes. Withdraw is plausible, yes. So table 5 for them, which is a D10. And they get a 1, which is withdraw. Okay, so we have an attack on echelon against a withdrawal, which is a +1. So we go back to a 2-1 with no die roll modifier. And let's see what happens here. And they get a 4. At 2-1, a 4 is a retreat for both sides. Righto. So Delancey must retreat 1, and he will retreat 1 back to here. The Greens have to do their retreat. It's defenders retreat first. So North Carolina Brigade must retreat. They'll retreat back with the Maryland. Green goes with them. Delancey does his retreat. Skinner's Greens now needs to do a morale check for a retreat, and he's at 0, -1, so he needs a 6 or better to stand, and gets an 8, so he stands. And the New York Volunteers the same, and get a 1 and retreat, which leaves Skinner's Greens swinging in the breeze. And that is it. There's no gain to momentum or anything else. There's no advance after combat. The British didn't want to re-roll that because that was probably a relatively good result, and they could have got off a hell of a lot worse. Still not great, though. Okay, for the Americans, again, no reinforcements, no disrupted units, no shattered or pinned units, so it is movement. And the Parmento horse is going to come around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to here. Washington's Dragoons will go 1.5, 3, 4.5, 5, and Swampy will go 1, 2, 3 to here, which still leaves a line of retreat into here, which is fine. the North Carolina Brigade is going to come forward 1. Maryland Brigade will come forward with green. Gaines Artillery will come forward 1, 2. Brown's Artillery 1, 2 in support. The rifle will come forward. No, it won't. Virginia Brigade and pickets. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Kirkwood, 1, 2, 3, 4, along with Lee, along with the Parmento, Foote, and Hampton. And then the rifle, 1, 2, 3, 4. None of them have gone through any of these at the moment, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, I'll get rid of this rally on me for the time being. So, rally phase for the Americans, there is nothing to do there. Defensive artillery fire. So again, we have the defensive artillery here. Now you could fire at the rifles, but that'd be at a +1. Light infantry, artillery or mounted. No, so that would just be a straight up 1, 2, 3, which would be an 8 to hit. Again, could fire over here for an 8 to hit. So it depends on what he wants to hit, and probably the Virginia Brigade is the best thing to hit for a 1, 2, 3, and that is a an 8 to hit. Okay. Here we go. 8 to hit, and they get a 4 and miss. Okay. Then we have the rifle fire phase. Again, nobody in range, so not a problem there. I'll just move those momentums forward. Close combat. We're going to do Coffin first down here. So what we have is the lead unit is the Washington Dragoons for a 2, because I want Swamp Fox there and the Palmetto Horse there to stop these guys diddly bopping back up this way if these have to retire. So we have a 2 to 2, which is a 1 to 1. Sorry, idiot. We have a 2, 4 to 2, which is a 2 to 1. Adjusted morale for the attacker's lead unit is a +1. There's no commander for that. Any defending unit is disrupted is a +1, so we're up to +2. Any attacker is mounted dragoon against solely disrupted and or shattered units. Well, Charleston Horse is the only unit, so that's another +1. So that's +3. And defender is surrounded. No, he is not. Okay, defender benefits. Adjusted unit morale, so it's a +1, -1, so nothing for the Charleston Horse. They pick up 1 for Coffin, that's a -1. And that is it. So we're at a 2 to 1 +2. Looking at tactics again, both have a leader because we have Swamp Fox here. So the Americans are engaged with the leader. The opponent has a leader. Is a flank possible? And we can flank to here, here, or here. Withdraw is plausible for us. So it is, again, table 9, a die 8. And we get a 4, which is skirmish. And for the Brits, again, engaging with the leader. Opponent has a leader. Is flank possible? And they could flank down to here. So yes. Is withdraw plausible? And they can withdraw into the trees. So yes. So again, table 9. And we get a 4, again, which is skirmish. They wipe themselves out and mean nothing. So we're at a 2-1 plus 2 for the attack. And we get a 8 plus 2 is 10 at 2-1, is 1 step loss and a leader casualty. Okay. So disrupted unit for a step loss. Let me just check that. Loses 1 step if the unit is full strength. 2 step, it's flipped over and remains at the hex. Otherwise, the unit's placed in elimination. No. Okay. So even though it's disrupted, it is simply flipped over and remains disrupted. So we have a step loss, but coffin becomes a casualty. Okay. So what we have then is, do the Brits want to get a re-roll and force a re-roll? And I think the answer is yes. So let's reset the Charleston horse. Disrupted. They use their momentum to get a re-roll. The Americans re-roll. And we get a 5 plus 2 is a 7 instead, which is a step loss, but no leader loss. Oh, sorry. A 5 plus 2 is 7 is, disruption, which means that unit, I believe, becomes shattered. Righto, let's have a look here. The only player retreats the affected unit 3 years and places a disruption marker on it. The other friendly, If the affected unit was already disrupted, it is now shattered. The affected unit must retreat 3 hexes. Okay, so he comes out 1, 2, 3 and becomes shattered. Excuse me. And coffin comes back with it. With our rally on me, our lead unit comes forward, and Swamp Fox remains where he is. Palmetto Horse remain where they are. So we had a disruption, which is a -1. Again, to the British morale going down to 6. And then we go on to the other attack, which is here. So we have 3, 6, 9, 12 to 2, which is a 6-1, so 4-1 being our max. Die roll modifiers, the lead unit will be the Maryland Rifles, so that's a +2, +1 for green is +3. And that is that. For the defender, he's on a 0, -1 for army morale, so we're up to now +4. And that is it. 4-1 +4, and we look at the tactics again, and the Americans are engaged with the leader, but the opponent has no leader. Flank is possible. Withdraw is plausible for the Americans, so it's table 5, a die 10, and they get a whole 1 for a withdraw. And for the Brits, engage without a leader, withdraw is plausible because they can withdraw down to here, or they can withdraw to here. So it's table 1 for a die 8, and they get a 4. which is stand fast. So we have a withdraw to a stand fast is no combat whatsoever. And the Maryland Brigade, being the lead, must withdraw. And then the North Carolina Brigade, blah, blah. I believe must do a morale check. So they're on a 0, but they pick up 2 for green, so therefore they need a 3 or better to stand. They get an 8, so they do stand. But green will pull back to the Maryland Brigade and leave them there. Okay. So that's good. And then we're up here with Hampton. So now what we have is 2, 3, 4 to 2 is 2 to 1. The lead unit being the Palmetto Foot gives us a no. Lee's Legion of Foot gives us a +1. And because we have a Palmetto Foot there as well, we get Hampton, so that's a +2. Defending unit. No? Okay, defender benefits. The morale of the defending unit is a +2 -1, so that's a -1. Any defending unit is in the Meeting House, Guildford, Quiston, or Wantoot Plantation House is a -1, so we're at -2 again. And that's it. So we're at a 2 to 1 with no modifier. Again, looking at tactics. Both sides have a leader, so we're engaged with the leader. Opponent has a leader. Can the Americans flank? And they can to here or here. So it's table 9 for a die 8. And they get a 7, which is turn flank. And for the British, again, engaging with the leader. Opponent has a leader. Flank is possible. They can go to here or here. Withdraw is plausible. Yes, they can withdraw to here. So therefore, again, table 9, die 8. And they get an 8, which is refuse flank. So we have turn flank, refuse flank, which is a -2. So we have 2 to 1, -2. This could hurt. Let's see what happens. And we have a 7 -2, which is a 5 at 2 to 1. A 5 is defender retreat. Now, in the plantation house, dun, dun, dun. Wantoon Plantation. Okay, so close combat is not mandatory for units inside. Units defending receive the following: +1 to morale checks. Okay, so it should have been a +1 there. -2 to fire combat. Yeah, we gave them that. -1 to close combat. For retreat results, the lead unit is not required to retreat, and other units in the hex do not have to make morale checks. So the best we can do is we have to get a disruption at least to make them get out of there. Righto. Bum, bum. And in fact, that shouldn't have been a 5. They would have had an extra 1, so it's a retreat for both. So Lee's Legion of Foot must retreat 1, and then these other ones have to do a morale check. Righto, so it's a 4 or better for the Palmetto Foot, and they get a 0, so they must retreat, and a 3 or better for Kirkwood, and he gets a 3, so he stands, and Hampton is going to fall back. Righto, so that's that. That's the end of the 2 p.m. turn, and the next time we come back will be the penultimate turn, turn 9, which is the 3 p.m. turn. Again, sorry for the little mistakes and that, but there's Coffin and his people down here, the Charleston Horse. So trying to get people out of the plantation house is going to be a pain. I'm trying to, from the American side, get rid of these troops so I can consolidate everything up to get rid of Marchbanks and his people. And what I may end up doing is leaving these here and just diddly-bopping up to cut this mob off if I can. Try and surround them, get them out of there. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. So, take care, be good, and I will catch you next time. Bye for now.